This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, and I think a little fear. Really? But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's gonna be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Welcome back to YA OK. You have Alyssa here, and we have our bestie Eric on the line. On the line. I mean,
hi,
we record
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Wait, do you know that I do a live show on Tuesdays, and like I legitimately say that all the time?
I
think
love
that's
that
why
saying. It's so great.
Yeah,
especially when it's not true.
Yeah.
It's a great bit. It's a great bit. A+.
It's such a good bit. It's such a good bit. I'm gonna start doing that when I call my grandma now.
Yeah.
Hi, Bella. Longtime fan, first time caller. She's going to be like, Ma, what are you talking about? You know, just keep things spicy in that conversation. Yeah. Otherwise it gets stale.
Exactly.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. I'm
Good.
doing splendid.
I love to hear it. Splendid.
I won't talk about the weather because I think we talk about that to start with.
Yeah, we did. And we're having like a really nice day, but we discussed more of that. Oh, I shouldn't have even said that. I should have kept the mystery. So that's what keeps everyone listening to this episode. What weather were they experiencing on the day that they recorded this?
And what weather we have now that I'm listening.
Yeah, exactly. And have a whole, really think about that, the contrast of that. Mm-hmm. I myself am violently hungover because I went to go see Jesse McCartney with my little sister yesterday. Honest. And also, when I was like, you know what, we already had a drink at dinner. And then we went to a bar and got another drink and there's a bar in Manhattan called Romeo's, and they do espresso martini shots with hazelnut cold foam on top.
Oh, that sounds... And also, I feel like an espresso martini shot is exactly what you need before you go to a concert, though. Because it's not like, it's not going to get you jittery. It'll just give you just enough to kind of get through the concert.
Just a little bit. And then, so like I probably would have been okay if I had those three and then I just like at the concert had water. I would have been okay even with the drink that we had after the concert. But what I did at the concert was I asked for a Truly and they gave me a Truly, but it was
the jumbo.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, they're not like the little 6-pack Trulies. They're like the liter Trulies.
Big boy. Yeah. And I think that my body was like, now you're out of line. Now you pushed it. Because all the other drinks that you had were at least $15 and made with some quality alcohol. What the fuck is this?
Hey,
and
that is seltzer, so it's water. You're hydrating. You shouldn't be that hungover.
Listen, I literally showed Eric earlier, I'm drinking, not that anyone will see this part, necessarily, but I'm literally drinking chicken broth with pastina in it out of a thermos, and I was drinking that the whole time we were recording this episode. I actually don't feel as bad as I did before. I feel mostly fine.
Good.
But
so the soup helped.
The soup helped, and also our lovely conversation with Jen helped because we had a lot of fun.
Jennifer Dugan, what a treat. She and I basically connected immediately, and we were on like a school bus going to this festival, and it was just a great time, and people did think that we are best friends, and now we are, but at the time we were strangers.
I especially like the parts of your storyline where you are frenemies, because I think that's what best friends do.
Yeah, we just mock each other in our books, which Jen has done twice to me, and I didn't even mock her. I gave her a doctor character that I named after her.
Wow.
So
wow. I love it. I love it.
I'll have to change my next book. I'll put in Jennifer's who are just mean bullies, and all they do is bully people.
Jennifer can be a mean girl name. I think you could do it.
That's not the person that you're going to hear talking to today, because she pretends. She pretends she's not mean, but she bullies me.
Oh my gosh. Well, we talk about the books that she's releasing this year and some other ones that she's released previously that are very cool. She's released stuff in a lot of different genres too, which is cool, like young adult. She even has one that's a little scurry.
We talked so long, I didn't even get to bring up her graphic novels that she has too.
Oh my God, right. She obviously has, again, a million ideas, and I'm so happy that she's sharing them with everyone, and especially with us today on the pod.
Yeah.
You are my universe. You are my universe. And I'm just a planet.
So hi, Jen. How are you today?
I am pretty darn good. The sun is shining for the first time in a while. Yeah. So
It's
I'm
actually,
happy. I'm gonna be.
it's such a nice day today. So nice out.
All I hear is some guy out there with a leaf blower. And it feels like every time we try to record this podcast, there's always a psychopath with a leaf blower out there.
It's so
and it
funny.
just drives me insane. I hope you can't hear it.
I know we can hear it.
I literally warned. No, we can't hear it, but I literally did warn my neighbor because he's working outside. And I was like, I am recording at 11. You need to we're just going to cut.
Wow, you're a mean neighbor. They're probably like, oh, Jen again. She's always bossing us around.
Life's a little fun with a little gossip. You have to stir it up. Sometimes you need to make yourself the center of the drama. And that's what we did today. And I love that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
So, Jen, you write everything. It always seems like every time I talk to you, you're writing something, because then I was like, as I was getting all the books together to talk about today, in my mind, I had that you had a book coming out on April 30th. And then I was like, no, because Ride of Her Life, which is your adult romance, comes out the same day as my third book. And I was like, I have to be wrong. What is it? And I thought Playing for Keeps was out, but no, it's coming out April 30th. And that's a YA. And so you have a book coming out like within a month. You have two books coming out within a month of each other.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I get a nice long break until August.
August is the long break. So you have 3 books coming out this year.
3 this year. Yep.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
How do you juggle all of these? Because I mean, a lot of the time when we are talking, you're playing video games. So I just want to know how you have time
What games do you play?
Such
a
call out. Wow. Wow.
Listen, you yelled at me for not playing The Forest. I'm like, I'm on deadline. I can't cut down trees and kill cannibals.
I was on deadline too, and I made time for it. You need to have priorities.
Okay.
My latest obsession has been a game called The Forest, which I got Eric into playing.
Okay.
I'm taking a little break from it because it got a little weird. I got a little too into it.
After you beat it
basically, twice. I beat it twice.
Oh,
and
my
then you're
goodness.
playing this like open world, and so I kept telling Eric, I'm working on my depression house, because I just figured in the game you're like, your plane crashes and you're in this island full of like cannibals, and you have nothing, and you have to build weapons and try to survive, and there's animals that will also hurt you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and so it's really fun, and it's an open world game, so you could do what Eric did, which was just build a bougie base for like 3 months.
So Jen's telling me about all of these caves she's going in and all these mutants and cannibals she's killing, and I'm like, I haven't seen any of this yet. There's like the cannibals run to the shoreline of the land across from my little camp.
Sure.
And then they don't come over because they don't know how to swim, apparently.
Okay.
So I'm on this little island where the cannibals can't go. And I'm like, I found the perfect place. I have trees I can cut down. I built a tree house. I built like this whole fortress and everything. And it basically took me like 28 days within the game.
Yeah.
And Jen's like, wait, at day 7, all these mutants are supposed to come out and kill you. And I was like, I have not seen any of that.
I love this.
I try to I finally finished building my fortress and everything. And I'm like, well, I think I did everything that I can on this little island. I guess I should venture out and kill cannibals. And within 10 minutes, I'm dead and I just have to start over again. I was like, I don't like this.
Eric, you play games like I play games. Cause the kinds of games I play are like The Sims. And even in The Sims, I'm living the most regular life. Nothing dramatic's happening. Everyone's just minding their business and having a good time. And then at a certain point, I'm like, I'm kind of bored actually. I don't know. How are people playing this for so many hours and all the time? My best friend plays constantly. And I'm like, I'm kind of bored now. I don't know what to do. And she's like, well, you're not really actually playing the game is the problem. You literally have just built your house and then you existed. I'm like, yeah, but I'm comfortable here. So I understand. But that's really funny that this is a game that you've beat twice.
Yes. Well, it's just like Eric, we would send each other videos and he would be like, here's my luxury villa. And I'd be like, here's the effigies I made out of legs and heads and you can set them on fire. And,
oh my God.
And he kept complaining about his armor. And I'm like, are you making them out of bones? He's like, what bones? I'm like, you have to burn them after. And then you get their bones to make, and he's like, no, I haven't been doing that.
I am now understanding when you were like, it got a little weird, so I had to take a break.
Yeah, now I'm just playing a game called Firewatch where I'm just walking around a national park.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be soothing and story based.
Well, what are you
doing? I mean, somebody's hunting me, but
my favorite was Resident Evil Village, which Jen gets, and then she's like, you have to play it. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to play. You know what? It's on sale. I'll buy it. And I was on deadline, so I'm finishing up this editing. I think it was the Only Light Left Burning, and I finished editing, so I have some downtime afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'll take a little bit, and I text her. I'm like, oh my, I can't believe that this specific thing happened, and she's like, wait, what? What do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? You didn't get to this part yet? She's like, no. I was like, you've been playing it for 2 weeks. What are you doing? And she's about 12 hours into this game. And I was 3 hours into the game in the second area. Jen had not left the first area because she didn't realize that there was a map the entire time.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had to memorize and draw my own. And it was really hard because I didn't know. I did pick up a map, but it was hit a button that looked, and the button icon looked like a square, and I didn't know the center of a PlayStation controller is a button. It just looks like an area. But things did go much more efficiently once I had a map. I was like, but I was not that much more efficiently. But in the beginning, when you were looking stuff, I was like, no, you have to go past the old farm and the second scarecrow, because I had memorized this one area I'd been trapped in for so long. But
just
I would say, yes,
around using up all of the ammo and killing every enemy in this one area before even going on to the rest of the game.
I love it.
No, I think I got a trophy. There wasn't a bad guy left in the game just because of how long it took me.
I love this.
It wasn't on purpose.
A 9-hour game finished in 48 hours.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. This is so funny.
Yeah. Survival horror is my jam. For sure.
I love survival horror games. But I do want to talk about your new adult book coming out before we get into Playing for Keeps. And then we'll go back to horror with Last Girl Standing too. Because Ride of Her Life, that's the one where you're trolling me in the first page, right? You wrote a character that is based on me and my experience.
First chapter.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep, you're right in the first chapter.
Talk a little about that, about you trolling me.
This is amazing. Why was Jen not our first guest? Because this is so
because she's been busy writing 12,000 books that are coming out this year alone.
It is true. So my main character, Molly, works in as a barista in the open of the book. And so Eric does this thing where he says he doesn't need any space left for cream, but then he does want to add cream.
Okay.
So I just think that's a little messed up, because you're making messes, you're overfilling.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing.
So I have a character in the first chapter who comes in, and his name is Eric, and he's got his little laptop.
I love it.
And he's any similarities to anyone living or dead is coincidental.
Yeah, sure.
It's written in the book. But So I made up this guy named Eric who's in the coffee shop to write the next great American novel and asks for no space for cream and then adds cream and floods this. And so Molly has to deal with that when she's already having like a horrible day. And she thinks some unkind words about this fictional character who happens to be named Eric.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Here's this about that. I told you. I don't ask for room because when they, like, if the barista says, oh, do you need room? They give you like an inch of room at the top of the cup. And that is when it's an iced beverage, which is all that I usually drink. That is the most per volume that you can possibly be taking out. So basically, I'm paying $5 for ice and some bean water. No, I want it almost to the brim. I take the cream and I go, boop, and that's it. I just change the color of the coffee and that's all. I have never spilled by putting cream in.
You have spilled one time. You told me you spilled.
No, what happened was the barista decided to be a bitch. And he's like, do you need room for cream? And I was like, no, that's all right. I only put a little bit in. And he looks at me, he's like, so you do need room? I say, no, I don't. I literally put a whisper of cream in. And he looks at me and he goes, okay. So he fills it all the way up to the brim.
What an asshole.
And then as he is moving it from the back counter to the counter to hand it to me, he spilled most of it. And then he cleaned it up and I took the creamer and I went, boop. And it was perfect. It was fine. None spilled. And that was it.
So funny.
He was the one who did that. I have never spilled it because I know how much cream to put in my coffee.
I do understand, like not wanting the room because they do leave quite a bit. And if you're only going to do like, especially cream, like you really only need a tiny bit. I understand the theory. It's really incredible to put it in a published book though.
Yeah. I mean, here I have you yelling. Yeah, here I have you yelling. I just wanted a splash. I didn't need room. You even have your chin is up defiantly.
Wow, that sounds like Eric.
Yeah,
I have never yelled at somebody in the service industry ever.
Yeah,
and
she knows.
I'm sure that I had a reason to, but I have never. I sit there quietly and I text Jen my secrets, and then she puts them in books forever written.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah.
Well, she even says his coffee says Eric in big bold Sharpie letters, and suddenly that is my least favorite name on earth.
I am dead.
I want you to know that I named a character after Jen as well, and you know what?
Did you?
Yes.
In what book?
In the third book,
A Murder.
In the first draft, I did kill you, but you managed to survive in the second draft. So
okay.
You managed to survive, but you also
explains why I haven't gotten it.
It's less. You have less of an impact on the story in the published version. So that's your punishment.
How long have you guys been friends?
But you live in anonymity.
How long have you guys been friends? I love this friendship.
This is the thing. We're not actually friends.
You're lying.
So what happened is we did a festival. Rochester Teen Book Fest, which is this amazing festival that is just for teenagers and schools, kind of like bus all these students in. It's a great celebration of young adult lit. And both of our partners got COVID, I think. And so at like the day before the festival, the people we were supposed to be working with and had prepared to work with both dropped out. And so they shoved us together and we had never met. And we hit it off. And after people were like, oh my God, it worked out so great that you guys are such good friends. I'm like, I met this dude this morning.
Wow.
But we just decided to run with it.
Yeah. And now we're just BFF. The last F stands for frenemies, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's when we met at the festival, like we got to share one email and that's it. They were just like, "Hi, this is your new partner that you're going to be talking with all day," and we're like, "Oh, okay." And so we like just exchanged one email. We're like, "Should we just kind of figure it out as we go along? Like this will be like a generic way of what we're going to talk about because we had to do 3 panels in one afternoon, and so we're like, that's fine, we'll do that." And Jen, I think you managed to get a copy of my book from the library, and
no, I had to pay for it on Audible.
Oh, you bought it?
Wow.
Oh, that's so nice.
Well,
So Jen
I have
read
a
my book. I didn't read
subscription, so it was a free credit. He didn't know anything about my books.
No.
And I'm going into the nuance of his.
Wow.
And I'm like, so Hot Dog Girl, it's about our girl in a hot dog suit.
In a hot dog suit? Even I know that's not what it is.
Actually, let's talk about Hot Dog Girl, one of the most banned books in America.
Wait, is it actually?
It is actually very banned.
Hot Dog Girl. And it's just a picture of a girl in a hot dog costume on the cover.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
all because people are scared of bisexual awakenings. Romance between 2 women.
Is it an adult or a young adult book?
It's young adult, yeah. There's 2 kisses. One is fake. So if you've seen a Disney movie, you've seen significantly more of a heat level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets banned for inappropriate material. So Hot Dog Girl is the story of a girl named Eloise who's like an absolute disaster. And she works at this amusement park and she wants to be the princess and she gets cast instead as a dancing hot dog. And she's also a vegetarian.
Oh, no.
And she has like a huge crush on this diving pirate. And so through a series of misunderstandings and Lou's little scheming brain, she decides to fake date her best friend, Celie, who's a girl. And she thinks that this is going to help her like go on double dates with this pirate boy and get closer. And as the story progresses, she starts to realize that maybe he's not actually what she needs or wants. And we just had a really cool thing. We just did especially lower priced paperback to make it more accessible to kids. So that just dropped April 1st.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's exciting. How much is it?
I think the cover price is $8.99, but most places are selling it for $6.99.
That's awesome.
So
that's really cool because, like, I think even my paperbacks. I have a paperback right here. It is $15.99 for a paperback for YA.
Wow, rich.
And then like my UK cover, I don't know why it's only $7.99 in pounds, but still that's cheaper than the US. I don't know why they're trying to like price out kids from buying books.
Yeah, Penguin Random House has been doing. I think this is the 2nd year. They've been doing it. It might be the 3rd year. I know last year was Wilder Girls and I forget who else. But they do one print. There's only one print run of it. So when it's gone, it goes back to regular price, but they do one huge print run and then flood the stores with them. So it's pretty cool. It's cool. It's seeing a lot of new readers and stuff. Cause to me, 2019 seems like the Stone Ages, you know? Yeah. Plus it's earned out. So I'm like, bonus for me that it's getting another push. It's always nice when that's the book that they push is the one that you'll get royalties on.
Hell yeah. That's cool. I love that.
After Hot Dog Girl was Verona Comics, but then Some Girls Do is the one that pretty much just jumped off on TikTok and got tons of readership. I think there's like, you have like 23,000 reviews on Goodreads for that one. And it's like, that one, has that seen the same kind of like banning as Hot Dog Girl? Because I feel like there is more, because they are older and there is more of the, like that relationship between the 2 of them kind of exploring their sexuality, falling in love. And I feel like that one would be more steamier than Hot Dog Girl, even though it's YA, it's not really steamy, but.
Yeah. No, there's definitely no spice in my YA books, but and I do get asked that all the time, and I'm like,
Which is
please.
a weird thing to be like...
No, they're children, but I do have adult romance to offer you if you like your spice of legal age.
In those.
Yeah, Some Girls does get a little bit of hate. I think they're a little slower to catch up. A lot of the banned books lists are predominantly 2019 and 2020, and now they're kind of getting to 2021 and 22. So I think they're just slow, like the 11 people behind these 5 million book bannings. But I also, Hot Dog Girl was a Junior Library Guild selection, which means it's in many, many schools. And so it's kind of low-hanging fruit because you can just go and look at that category on Junior Library Guild and be like, these schools should, these LGBTQ titles are, it's nice and curated. Plus Hot Dog Girl was on like all the Taysha, like all the Texas state reading lists. It was on a lot of state reading lists when it came out. So I think it was just easy, even though Some Girls has found its readership, significantly larger readership. TikTok has really blown it up. I don't think it's as much on adults' radars because it's not this school title that they can easily see. They have to actually be like, what else has this evil woman been up to?
God. I like
they
that
have
you
to do
write
research.
I like that you write about bisexual teens and their stories because I think so often bisexual women especially get like told the narrative that they're looking for attention and you're not actually bisexual. And so giving representation there is really, really nice. And I feel like, I don't know, I don't see a lot of the bisexual story being told, especially in young adults. So I love that you chose that. Was there a reason why you chose to write the stories that way?
Yeah, well, so Hot Dog Girl, while it was my debut, was actually the 6th book that I wrote. And so I had spent a long time trying to write these like awful straight romances. I had written, Eric has heard this story before, but the first book I queried was a straight romance that like took place completely in an apartment. He didn't leave the apartment. It was 120,000 words, which is a great length for a contemporary romance. And then when I sent it out to query, my comps were Nick Hornby and James Joyce, because I was also very in touch with the market and just very chill and humble. So it took me a while to embrace that, but I was like a disaster bisexual teen who was very messy myself, and I didn't really ever see that representation, certainly not growing up, but even as a writer you weren't really seeing it. And then when Love, Simon came out, you started to see more queer representation, but it was typically like white boys who were very palatable and soft, and I was like, I am just going to come on the scene and ruin everything with these messy women and girls. And so, that's pretty much been my life mission. I like to, in my YA books, I like to say that I write for the people where there's like who you are and who you want to be, and you're kind of living in this gap in between trying to figure it out. And to show those kids that you are deserving of love, even if you are kind of flailing and not always making the best choices. I think anyone who's read any of my books can attest to poor decision making of my characters. But that's what life is really like. So that's what interests me.
I love that.
People who connect with stories like that, it's because we're all messy and just making terrible decisions all the time, So, I mean, I'd like to think that I make good decisions now, but I also did decide to become a writer, so clearly that's not true.
That right there is a red flag.
Oh yeah, definitely. The reddest of flags.
At Evernorth Health Services, we believe costs shouldn't get in the way of life-changing care, and we're doing everything in our power to make it possible. Behavioral health solutions that also keep your projections at their best? It's possible. Pharmacy benefits that benefit your bottom line? It's possible. complex specialty care that cares about your ROI. It's possible because we're already doing it, all while saving businesses billions. That's Wonder made possible. Learn more at evernorth.com/wonder.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
In the darkest corners of the internet, a nameless, formless entity has been growing. No one dares question where it was created or what it wants, but those who have been entranced by its musings chant its blood-curdling name in unison. Horror Movie Night!
Find Horror Movie Night on your favorite podcasting app or at hmnpodcast.com.
Before we talk about, again, Last Girl Standing, because it's your horror novel, and I know that we love talking horror here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Playing for Keeps, because that one is coming out in April 30th. I just said this. This is the April 30th one, the one that you trolled me, and it's coming out May 28th. That's right. So I'm not in Playing for Keeps. Is that true?
It is true. It is true. But I can add you in the one I'm drafting now, Summer Girls. I can make you I can rename one of the horrible tourist boys.
Please do that. Please make me a horrible tourist boy. So what is Playing for Keeps about? Tell us about that.
So Playing for Keeps is about Ivy and June, who are two girls. One wants to be a professional NFL ref, because we just had our first one in the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. There's only one right now.
Yeah.
And a girl who is also kind of pushing gender norms because she is a baseball player who did not ever switch to softball. There's not actually a rule in high school sports that girls can't play baseball. So there is this kind of growing movement of girls who play to get girls playing baseball. And there's some great organizations doing some awesome work on that front. And so what happens is she takes a job as an umpire for this club team that the baseball player's on. And so they cannot date because an umpire and a player would be a conflict of interest. But of course they hate each other, and then realize that they hate each other so much because they think each other is just so hot, and they immediately fall in love.
Love it.
And there's drama, there's secret relationships, forbidden romance, all of that.
And a really cute cover too.
It is really cute. Also, both girls have experienced a loss. One has lost a mom and one has lost a brother. So there's a lot of themes of grief and the pressure that parents put on kids as they prepare for college, because they're both high school seniors. And so their parents are really hammering them to, you have to go to a good college. It's all writing on this, all your applications. So those are all things that a lot of teens, especially currently, it's super high pressure environment to try to even get into a college. And so I thought a lot of people would be able to relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. I've never thought about why. I never really gave it thought, the baseball and softball thing, because I'm terrible at all sports. I don't enjoy them. I watch them for the snacks and the beer, and that's pretty much where my dad put me in softball when I was in grade school, and that he will never forget this day, because after one of my softball practices, I said, "Dad, I'm not an athlete." And he never put me in another sport after that. I just really didn't like it. I was just standing in the outfield, and I was like, this is so boring. I'm so hot. I don't care about the stupid ball. It was just not my thing. But I never thought about how bizarre it is that at some point they just put women into the same sport with a bigger ball. Why? Why did they do that? That's so condescending, and it never occurred to me. And then they also call it softball.
Yeah, there's so much in track, and some girls do. I do have my track girl does run a 1600 because I wanted her to run a 1600. But typically in track, it's the same way. Boys run 1600, girls run 1500, boys run 32s, girls run 3000s. And it's like they're delicate, you know, these super athletes, but
Little
those
weights.
200 meters, will send them to the fainting couch.
Right, exactly. That's so wild. I'm not involved enough, I guess, in sports for that to have really crossed my mind, but it's actually like, that's really offensive. I'm very upset. I'm going to start an argument at my dinner table later about this. Be like, what the hell, guys? Wow.
I played sports as a child and also learned. I only played because my brother was, and also learned very quickly that I was not an athlete. Actually, it's funny. I'm writing an essay for my first nonfiction anthology, and they approached me, which is very strange because I've never been approached for writing for an anthology. And it's about queer people in sports. And they approached me, and I was like, at first I was like, why are they asking me to write this? And then as I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, I actually could write something. And I think it's a pretty good essay. And it's about why I stopped playing team sports as a kid and then how I rediscovered it as an adult. And I will say my first sport that I played was t-ball. And with t-ball, they had like a little pitching machine. So if you strike out, you get to then hit it off of the tee. I think they made a special rule for me that after I couldn't hit the ball on the tee, that they just let me walk to first base after 3 times.
They were like, you should still experience some of this.
They're like, just walk over there. And then by the time I got to second base, I'd be out anyway. And then I was always in, I think, right field. Is it stage right or stage left? I don't know. Anyway, but I was in the one between first and second base. And I just remember I was out there like just kind of spinning around, just bored, not liking it.
Yeah.
But then I got a trophy and a participation trophy, obviously. And I told my mom, I was like, oh, I want to play it again. And my mom's like, you don't get that next year because you're going to actual Little League. They only give that to people who win. And I was like, oh, never mind.
I'm out.
Wait, I have to win? No, absolutely not.
I have like hyper athletic children. So most of my books are like written on bleachers or in cars or things like that. So that's why I end up dealing so much with sports. But we also love to watch sports. We are like Eric said once I was like a jock or something, and I was like, no. But I guess in retrospect, I can see like the elements of it.
I think you become a jock when you're basically flying across the country just to see hockey games that you can also just watch on TV.
Oh, then I am definitely a jock.
Why did you fly somewhere to see a hockay game? Who did you fly to see?
It was 3 hockey games, to be fair.
Okay.
Well, so I wanted to see, I like 2 hockey teams, which is not allowed. But, you know, I tell people, you know, I'm bisexual and people say that's not allowed. And I can like multiple genders. So
period.
I am bi when it comes to hockey.
I love that.
So I like Kraken, which are based out of Seattle. And I like the New York Rangers, which is going to get me canceled after this episode because they're so hated.
Don't worry. People who listen to this, they don't like sports.
Oh, that's good. Uncanceled. But yeah, when I want to go to a Kraken home game, it requires me to fly out to Seattle. So I'll do that a couple times a year. And then I'll go down and see them when they're around the East Coast area. And yeah. And sometimes I just want to get away. And so I'm like, where are the babies playing today?
Yeah. That's so fun.
We'll go.
I love that.
I love how there was like one time you were even like, hey, the Krakens are playing the Flyers in Philly. Should I just come down and see you? I was like, absolutely. I forget why you didn't, but.
Because the next day they were playing in New Jersey and I was going there with someone else. So I did New Jersey and Long Island. But this year, Philly's on the list. I already made my list. So,
oh my God, you
is that going to be when you're in town in Philly? for our event in June?
No, the Kraken are out of playoffs. They're not playing any hockey in June.
Again, I don't.
You silly goose.
We don't know. We don't know. I have a sporty boyfriend, and the things that I've experienced in the time dating him, I really never thought I would. One of them was what do they call it? When you play hockey outside for some reason. They did that recently at the Meadowlands.
The Stadium Series? Yes.
That's the one. Oh, yeah, Stadium Series. I always think Subway Series, but I know that that's baseball. And I know that one.
Hockey on the subway train.
Yeah.
That's just the subway, honestly. That's just
But you have to get it from one subway car to the other, but like the doors are closed, so they have to like get somebody there to open it first, and then you have to get the puck through.
We deal with
and it can't fall out while it's moving.
Oh my God.
Sorry, go ahead.
That would
what
be
about
fun.
the Stadium Series?
So the Stadium Series, it was freezing. It was freezing. And it was also...
You got to go?
I got to go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I'm
for me, okay, here's the thing. I have really bad memory and my boyfriend has really good memory. So he tells me exactly one time that this is going to be outside. It does not. So when I'm packing, I packed a cute outfit, not a warm outfit.
Oh.
I was freezing my little tootsies off the whole time. It was also, to be fair, very cold. Even people who were like really dressed didn't stay for the whole thing because something about, I think it was the Meadowlands where like the wind, it's like a wind tunnel. So like it's just so freezing cold. But we did get to see the Jonas Brothers play. So I just kept calling it the Jonas Brothers concert, which he didn't like, but I thought was very funny. I was like, I'm really cold. Can we leave the Jonas Brothers concert? I think I'm done here. They're not coming back. But yeah, I've learned a lot about sports in that time. And I think like the fun thing about it is the team element of it, and also being able to go in person and being able to like be with everyone. Like, I don't like know what's going on, but I'm ready to just be like, wow. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good energy. It's fun to see things. It's just like, if you're not into it, after like an hour or two, it goes, okay, I think I maybe want to leave this now. That's
when I'm just like constantly getting snacks. I'm constantly going to get a drink. I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm entertaining myself. I'm finding a way. But yeah, sports.
It's weird because I like the most boring sport, which I actually like baseball. I don't know what it is, but I could sit down and watch baseball. I think because I don't need to pay attention to it too much.
Yeah, it's very chill.
It's very relaxing. But then it's like, if something exciting happens, it's like, oh, cool, something exciting happened.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, cool, that's it. We'll wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, with hockey, it's hard because if I have it on and I'm like trying to draft or read a blurb book or something, the announcers, anytime you get near the net, are like, oh my God, here we go. Oh my God. And so I put it down and I'm like, and they're like, what a save. And I'm like, you just made me think there was going to be a goal. Like, you made me look up from my book. I lost my train of thought. And you're like, false alarm. Oh, they're back. False alarm.
The theatrics.
I think that's another thing. I don't like the games where they go back and forth on the thing and they have to score it in a net. So like basketball, hockey, soccer. I think I just don't like things like that because I'm like, all right, this is a lot of back and forth. This isn't that fun.
Yeah, I get that.
I do like rugby though.
Oh, I feel like rugby is a hot guy sport. Like
you like rugby size. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Let's be honest.
Rugby's also exciting because it's basically like American football, but there are no downs. So it's like it's constantly moving, which that's why football kind of annoys me. It's because it gets boring. They do like a play for 3 seconds and then somebody gets tackled and they have to reset. And there's 8 minutes of commercials and then another 30 seconds of playing and then another 10 hours of commercials.
Do you know how long it took for me to realize what a down is? Because I would ask every man around me, and the way that they would explain it is, okay, so you have this many yards and you have this many. I'm like, don't make me do long division. Tell me what a fucking down is. Do you know what it is? A try. Our first try, our second try, our third try. A down is a try.
Yes.
I was like, why? How? What? You tried to give me fractions? It's a try. I could not believe it. I was like, I can't believe I was like 27 when I learned what a down was, like actually understood. I was like, this is nuts.
I feel like I learn something new about football every year.
We need more women in sports so that they can explain things clearly.
Yes, we do. You know what?
Exhausting.
Let's get away from sports now. Let's talk about horror because that's exciting.
Yes.
Let's talk about The Last Girl Standing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Match.
Oh.
Last Girl Standing is very interesting because you go from these really cute like rom-coms to a super dark horror about two girls who survive a massacre at a summer camp and then have this codependent relationship, and that just is not healthy.
Super toxic relationship.
Yeah. So what made you want to go from rom-coms to horror like that?
My two favorite things in life are like love and like murder. So I hadn't gotten to do like that like murdery side. Mm-hmm. And I loved horror, like passionately loved horror. I watch a horror movie outside of hockey playoff season. I watch a horror movie almost every night, to the point where I've accidentally watched student films on Amazon, like because I'm at the bottom of the barrel, and I'm like, well, I got to find something I haven't seen. Yeah. I used to rope this author, Rory Power, who's one of my good friends. I used to rope her in, and actually she stopped after the student film. She was watching with me to like be a good sport. And then she's like, I feel this has like student film vibes. And I'm like, it's on Amazon Prime. It has like a logo in the front. And she looks it up and she goes, yeah, he made this for his master's.
Shut up.
Yeah. It was like a shaky cam.
Deal with Amazon.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like a nice grade? Shaky cam horror. I mean, I would have given him like a B.
Okay.
It was pretty good. I mean, I have seen significantly worse. I think Rory gave it like a D, but I have seen significantly worse. Yeah.
I do have to defend myself because in Last Girl Standing, you call me out again. It seems like this is a theme with you now. But in your acknowledgement,
that's in the acknowledgements.
You say, Eric J. Brown, even though you overhyped Skinamarink by a lot, I didn't overhype Skinamarink.
Yes,
I was actively watching Skinamarink, and I was only 30 minutes in, and I said, oh, this is really creepy. I didn't realize that it is an hour and 45-minute movie, and 50-minute movie that probably should have been closer to like 80 minutes. It had creepy moments, and that was it. I don't think it's the be-all, end-all of horror. It had creepy moments, and I think it was interesting the way it was done. I never told you that it was like the greatest thing ever.
If someone knows that you're really into horror and they're like, I'm watching this movie, it's really creepy, you should check it out. Is that not like a ringing endorsement? That is like...
It's hard to say.
Yes, it is.
Well, and it's also if you're consuming so much horror too, it's hard to even know like what's the actual stuff that scares you? Because there's a friend of mine who watches horror, like similar to you, watches horror movies every single day, and like I've never seen him be scared. He watches things and goes right to bed. Like I've never seen him be scared at anything.
That's us.
He was so scared of Skinamarink. He was so scared. And he was like, he thought it was the scariest movie he saw of the year. And I was like, that makes no sense. What? Because I haven't even seen it, but I know that like nothing really 90% happened.
Of the movie is a shot of a corner.
Yeah, it's liminal space.
A corner of a wall.
Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, that's generous that they even... I thought, oh my God, I'm too stupid for this movie, because that's my default. When I see a movie that I am like, this movie is bad, I don't immediately think this is a bad movie. I think I'm so dumb. I do not understand the brilliance.
Oh my God.
Afterwards, I looked up interviews with this director, and even he doesn't know what's happening. He's like, I started with an idea, but then he kind of just went with it, and people are making up their own theories, and I'm like, you don't know either.
Oh God.
I'm not dumb. It's just bad.
It's just bad. Well, it's like I always think of and I don't remember if I talked about this on a different episode of this podcast before. I don't remember now, but I love Insidious. I love the concept for Insidious. The second they show the monster, I'm like, this isn't scary anymore. What the fuck was that? That looked like a Spirit Halloween costume. It reminds me of like one of the Star Wars Darth Maul or whatever. Similar vibe. I'm like, what are we what is that? Like, what was that? And then the movie's like not really that scary anymore. I still like the like astral projecting dreaming concept is cool to me. But, you know, so then with Skinamarink, I sort of am like, I understand because you never see the monster. And so like if you got monsters up here, that movie will fuck you up. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think it is a subconscious thing, but also there were creepy moments. My complaint was it was too long. It should have only been like 80 minutes. And I think it would have been a really tight, like 80-minute kind of creep factor kind of movie.
Sure.
I think it would have been a terrifying 15-minute YouTube short.
Honestly,
just a TikTok video.
80 minutes is being very generous. I think 15 minutes in and out.
Yeah,
that's all we needed.
You did say that I was right about Halloween Ends, though. Jen and I are Halloween Ends apologists. We both love Halloween Ends.
It's so good.
I know that people hated it. I feel like it's a fever dream. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I can't believe this movie exists. Because it does not make sense that it exists. And that's what I love about it. And we think it's like a YA romance.
It's like a romance.
In a Halloween sequel, because we think that the Corey, have you watched it, Melissa?
I can't remember which one. Like, there's so many Halloween movies that I can't remember which one Halloween Ends is anymore. I need to look it up. Hold on.
The most recent one. I'm going to tell you something.
Oh my gosh. We should do a live watch.
Producer Matt says that he does not trust people who don't like Halloween Ends. And I agree.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet because I know the new one has Jamie Lee Curtis come back in it, which feels a little... Yeah. But okay, continue. Okay.
Honestly, I think that if they cut her out of Halloween Ends entirely, I think it still would be a great movie and I would love it because it does something different, which I appreciate after I think 12 sequels. Like, it's nice to have something new. And I also hated Halloween Kills. And it becomes this weird bisexual awakening where this kid Corey, he's babysitting a kid after Michael Myers is killed in Halloween Kills. He just disappears. He's babysitting him a year later, and the kid accidentally dies on his watch. And people basically are looking for a boogeyman because they can't find Michael Myers. So they make Corey this boogeyman. It basically destroys his life overnight. A couple years later, we catch up with him and people are still treating him like he's this monster because a kid died by accident. And then it becomes a romance between him and Laurie's granddaughter.
Okay.
And also Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's like a love triangle. They have this little love connection too, because Michael Myers finds Corey and then he's about to kill him. And then they look in each other's eyes and they see the darkness there and something passes. And then they start killing with each other. And I just
they
want
go on
Michael
this
to be
murder
happy.
husband's killing spree. It's so cute.
Yes.
I wish I saw
it's
that.
Adorable.
I wish I saw that in theaters because when that moment happened, I would just be like, kiss.
I think I did. I'm like, kiss him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love, to your point,
so much.
To your point about Jamie Lee Curtis, though, one thing that I do like about her part in it, and that's also what I do in The Last Girl Standing, is that it starts after the massacre. And so we're only seeing the massacre through flashbacks and seeing how it has impacted these girls moving forward, who are kind of dealing with this mystery of trying to figure out why they were left alive, because they're trying to find meaning. They're like, there has to be a reason why so many people died and we're still here. It can't just be luck of the draw. And as they do, they start to uncover all this weird stuff with cults and all this. But what I love is like Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to like go to the grocery store and people are just like, you're such an asshole. Like, my uncle died because you provoked this masked man through our town when you were 18. And if you just let him go, he wouldn't have stayed here and like murdered my family. And it's true. I'm like, girl, move
Yeah.
Move. Like, first of all,
move.
I love that everybody in the reboot movies too, like everyone in Haddonfield is constantly at an 11. Whatever it is, they're at an 11. They're so pissed off all the time. And it's and like the bullies are all band geeks. Like they're in marching band. And they're like basically torturing this fully grown adult, by the way.
I love it.
I genuinely love this movie. It is so good.
I'm gonna have to watch.
Tensions
I want to watch all
are
of them
high.
again.
The tensions are very high in Haddonfield. I don't think love is living today. I'll be real.
Yeah, no. Love dies tonight.
Jamie Lee Curtis also can do no wrong for me. I really love her. I follow, like, she's like one of the only like true celebrities I follow on Instagram because she posts like, I don't remember how old she is now, but whatever age she is, that's the age that it feels when she's posting. Like she posts, she's 65. She posts like a 65-year-old woman. Like it's very like random things. Like sometimes it's like relevant and sometimes it's just like so out of left field. Like she doesn't have a social media strategist, obviously. Like she is just shit posting sometimes and I love it. I'm so here for it.
I do think that Stephanie Hsu should have won the Oscar over her for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But other than that, absolutely love.
I loved that movie.
That's I think the last movie that I felt emotions. I felt something with where I was like, finally, there's a good movie. There's a movie that I connect with, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's not just a great movie; it's a piece of art. And I miss movies like that. Every movie now I watch, I'm like, it was fine. It was a fine way to spend 2 hours. I wish it was 90 minutes. I'm like a 70-year-old man. I'm like, oh, why is it an hour and 45 minutes?
All movies are freaking 2 hours now. I'm like, brevity is also a skill. We need to figure that out.
Yeah. You know what? Halloween Ends could be 3 hours long and I would still love it. But other than that,
give it the Marvel movie treatment.
The Marvel movie treatment.
Yeah, purposely dehydrate myself before like a movie release. So I'd be like, I'm not missing some Easter egg cameo in Captain America 27. I just wouldn't drink that entire day.
There's a website that tells you when it's good time to go to the bathroom. And it says, when this happens, go to the bathroom. And then when you get back, this will be what has happened. So you can go to the bathroom and sit there and read what happened in the movie.
That's weak.
I used it with, I think, Interstellar.
That's so funny.
I forget which part it was because it was long and I was like, I need to pee. So I was like on my phone in the back. It was like an afternoon. So it was me and like 3 other people. And I'm like in the back and I'm looking on my phone. I'm like, all right, it says I can go to the bathroom when I get to this water planet. As soon as they land on the water planet, I'm like, okay, cool. Boom, run.
There's an app.
No, meanwhile, I'm like on the treadmill dehydrating myself. Just like, I got a 3.5 hour movie tonight. I got
in the sauna, sweating yourself out.
Yeah.
There's an app called
Meanwhile, I will not get up on an airplane on like an intercontinental flight for 8 hours because I don't want to disrupt the person next to me.
Oh my God,
I will
same.
hold it.
I need the aisle seat for that reason because I always have to pee. And there was a time I genuinely thought I was going to pee myself on a flight because this poor girl was sleeping and I was like, well, I can't wake her. Obviously that's illegal. So I'm not going to do that. And so I just was like literally sitting there and I was like, this feels like pushing the human body to limits it's never experienced before to just see what I could do. So silly.
Well, I think that's a great place to end, especially because, Jen, I think that you have 12, 14 books you need to write that you're on deadline with. So we should probably let you go. Get some words in today.
I do.
Well, before we do let you go, what are you reading right now?
Am I reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have
Are you reading anything right now?
Or are you just playing
books
Firewatch?
over and over and over and over. I'm actually reading a book that's going to come out, I think, in August or somewhere, a few months down the line, called Wake Up, Nat and Darcy, which is a sapphic hockey romance. It's a very good so far. And I just finished this amazing book called The Lovers by Rebecca, I'm blanking on her last name, Fabian, maybe. But that's coming out this fall. It's called The Lovers. It is literally my favorite book that I have read in a while. It is a sapphic. Yeah, it's another sapphic romance. It's a second chance romance between this wedding planner who is planning this huge wedding for this influencer, and the influencer is making it all into like all of this like sound baths, hippy dippy stuff. And so one of the things that the bride does is she hires this tarot card reader who's like a little gimmicky, and it turns out the tarot card reader is the straight-laced wedding planner's ex from when they were teens, and it's kind of like the one that got away.
Oh, and the Lovers is the Lovers card. I get it now.
Yeah. And so they were fated to be like in the early this isn't a spoiler, but they get their cards read as teenagers that says they're twin flames, which means like they can be very toxic or very great. And so they kind of are having that in her head. And one is very super buttoned up, and one is like tarot card lady and doesn't have an apartment or anything. And it is so voicey. Yeah. I could not believe it. It is like a dual POV where there's never a moment where you're like, whose head am I in? That's how voicey it is.
Wow.
So everybody should pre-order that right now.
Who's the author?
Rebecca. Let me hold on. Let me look at my Kindle. Rebecca is her first name for sure, but I've been DMing her, so now I just think of her as Rebecca.
Rebecca with a K. Fabian.
Yes, that's the book.
Okay, cool. Ooh, this looks so cool.
It's got a beautiful cover.
Beautiful cover. Fascinating. I love that concept.
I'm adding it to my to-be read too. Well,
you
Jen,
should.
Thank you for coming on and talking all books and horror, and we'll have you back on when your next 12 books come out as well.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
When she asks me how far we can take it, I tell her we can take it across the entire universe. You are my universe, not just a planet.
Well, another great show. We just recorded a couple episodes this week, so I'm still reading the same book that I was reading last time. So if you want to hear about it, you should go listen to our episode about with Rex Ogle. So
mystery.
And if you've already listened to that episode, you know what I'm reading.
Yeah, I'm still reading mine also. And although I did just buy Jen's Last Girl Standing.
Oh yeah,
I just bought it and sent it to my Kindle. So I'll be starting that this week also, I'm sure.
That's great. Yes, if you're listening and you are a fan of horror or YA in any way, make sure you go buy Jen's books, because there's plenty for you. Plenty in the back catalog for you to check out.
Yeah, for sure.
Visit us online at YAOK Podcast on Instagram and let us know what you're reading. Send us a review. Maybe we'll read it online. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
And then we'll see you next time on YAOK.
Woo! Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.